Well, I'm just coming back from the Honouliuli Japanese internment camp, which is now a national monument. Interesting history of that property. It used to be owned by the Campbell family, I believe of Campbell Soup fame, and then they sold it to Monsanto, the seed company, and then Monsanto was purchased by Bayer, the aspirin company, currently owns it. But back when Barack Obama was the president, Monsanto gifted the Japanese internment camp to the federal government so that the feds could turn it into a national monument. I don't believe that that was out of the kindness of their heart. I could be wrong, but I don't think Monsanto is that magnanimous. It feels like they were ingratiating themselves to the government, the locals, because Monsanto is just doing some evil corporate shit when it comes to pushing out farmers and making them all dependent on their product. So, not a big fan. But regardless of that, well, not regardless, I mean, it's part of the experience of just feeling like there's something kind of evil that went on here, or is continuing to go on, and not a big fan of that. Yeah, what can I say about this? So, they called it Hell Valley. I can't remember the Japanese expression for that, but that's what the prisoners called it. And the prisoners were American born usually. They were from the island of Oahu, and they were just people that lived here, were patriotic, but because of the xenophobe of World War II and the fear of people being loyal to the Japanese emperor, they were taken from their homes forcibly and put into these internment camps. So the people that were docents had connection to the camp. One lady's grandfather was in the camp, and she told her story about how she came to know this and what her grandfather went through. It was powerful, and it got me to wondering about my own grandfather and stories he's told me about when he was a kid, and hearing the Zero planes come over the mountain on Pearl Harbor, the day of Pearl Harbor being attacked. And I wondered, were the guards that were guarding the Japanese prisoners from Oahu, were they basically watching over their own neighbors? I can't imagine that would be true, because how could you do that as a soldier? How could you reconcile with that? The cognitive dissonance would be so great, it would be overwhelming, I would imagine. Although maybe the xenophobe was just so strong, the national xenophobe and fear of the Japanese, that it wasn't an issue. But it's just this ongoing objectification of people against other people because of groups that they belong to, quote unquote. These subgroups of labels, of races, of ethnicities, gender, all the intersectionalities Kimberly Crenshaw refers to, all the different ways that we can subdivide ourselves, and we just can do evil shit to each other when that happens. It happened in World War II. It happened in 9/11 with Arab Americans. It happened again with the Chinese or Asian hate crimes, rather, in mid-2000s. And it's happening right now with Israelis and Palestinians. Whichever side of the camp you're on, you're going to hate against the other. It's happening with Republicans and Democrats, and it's such a waste of time, precious time and resources. Again, just part of my work being on this island, and not that I'm some great white savior, I'm just contributing to the mosaic of hopefully a healing picture which is to help us bridge those differences, see each other in the light of compassion, celebrate each other's differences, subjectify each other, and as Deepa's work is doing, see ourselves as part of this much larger family system that we're also harming and objectifying. And I'm guilty of it too. I still struggle with buying plastic. It's so hard because things are expensive otherwise. How are you supposed to afford to live if the things that are good for the environment and are good for you, that are nutritious, come in containers that are plastic? Supporting farmers, local farmers. And Monsanto, who authorized that deal? There's got to be some government oversight to say, you know what, Monsanto and what they're about is counter the food independence movement in Hawaii. Come on now, that's ridiculous. They have this huge property that's absolutely gorgeous. It's prime agriculture land. Of course, they're Monsanto. They're running all their experiments up there to figure out how can we make these farmers and this entire population dependent on our product, and not in a good way, right? It's about greed, corporate greed, unfortunately. And I'm objectifying corporations by doing that, by saying that. So the middle, corporations are helpful in some ways. They bring innovation, and they do help to lower prices through competition. So there's that whole invisible hand of economics theory. But unchecked, these things become polarized and extreme. And that's always what we have to do in our relationships, is constantly check and balance each other. It needs to happen at all levels of organizations, systems, relationships. I'm just talking, thinking out loud. It just seems so wrong to have a corporation like Monsanto, now Bayer, which is also extractive in nature. I mean, the aspirin came from a tree in the Amazon that I'm sure has been exploited. I don't know how much Bayer is given back and planting those trees again, or harvesting in a sustainable way, but I hope they are. I'm just going to stop now because it feels like a rant. That's not helpful. It's a powerful place. I highly recommend when they start opening it up to the public for tours that you go there, feel the power of it. And let's stop objectifying each other. Let's never put a group of people in camps, in concentration camps again. No one deserves that. No one.